What's going on, YouTube? Back with another video on this beautiful Thursday, and we got some news coming from Overdrive. Let me give you the story. When I bought my 1997 Freightliner Classic pushing that great 12.7 Detroit 60 series, I had an option between that truck or a 2016 Freightliner Cascadia with a DD15 with emissions. Both of them was about the same price over at the same dealership, and I ultimately decided that it was best for me and my business to go with the 1997 because it would cost me less money. And I always had this saying that if I got to delete a truck, I don't want the truck. See, the 2016 Cascadia, I knew, number one, I would have to delete it or dump a whole bunch of money in emissions. And y'all know me, if you've been knowing me for a long time, I don't put any money into an emission system. I don't replace one boxes, knot sensors, any of that stuff. Bake filters, play the derate game. I don't do any of that my whole career. And I most definitely don't want to be at the pump having to pay extra fees on DEF. Having to go in the store buying a box of DEF. I don't want to do any of that. So I opted out of playing that game a long time ago. I say, you know what, it's best for me to just go with this 1997 because I can avoid all that. I can avoid all that. And it ain't just about deleting the truck. See, if I got to delete it, but then even if I delete it, it's got all these extra parts that they didn't put on this DD15 versus this 12.7. It's got less parts on it, less parts that when I get to the mechanic shop, I gotta pay to get repaired. See that DD15 versus 12.7, one of them got less parts than the other. That DD15 with all them extra parts that they didn't put on now to make it more fuel efficient, I got to pay to get all that replaced. That 12.7, we talking about turbo, air compressor, starter, and some filters. ECM box or something. That's about it. Water pump. I can deal with that. DD15, shoot, I can't even name all the parts on the side of that thing. Now, have you seen a pack car motor? You think, you go look at the side of a pack car motor, you think I want to pay for all that shoe shine on there? I don't want all that now. I don't know. That's that. So I went with the 1997. Plus, it was ELD exempt. This was before the Russian law books, and you can call a number and get a new set of clock. That was before all that. Okay. Well, y'all know the EPA here recently, out the blue, they all of a sudden they look, hey, look, Andrew, we don't want all this, emissions on the truck no more, and trucks derating, and now all of a sudden it's bad. It's bad, after the dealership and, swindled thousands upon thousands of truck drivers, trucking companies, you name it, they done got all your money. You done ran to the dealership trying to get the one box fixed, replaced, knot sensors. They done cleaned you out over the years. Over the span of what? Since 2012 to now? A span of 10 years. Dealerships cleaning you out. As soon as you go in there try to get all this stuff replaced, you go 200 miles down the road, you gotta come back and get it all done all over again. All the lights, MIL light, all this stuff lighting up on the dashboard. Just taking your money. You go pull a load, deliver it, it's time to put money back into the DEF system all over again. I avoided all that just by buying an older truck. But now, this is the headline. DEF derates reined in. Relief now, bigger changes ahead. See, this is what I don't like about the system. See, a lot of y'all love the system. Y'all want the newer trucks, everything they got to offer, nothing wrong with that, because a lot of y'all ain't trying to own no truck. So a lot of y'all don't know about these scams, and y'all ain't really been through it. A lot of y'all want to take the truck to the dealership because they gonna do it right, and they gonna honor the warranty, and they gonna clean your bank account out too, and no, they ain't gonna give you none of your money back. Okay, so this is what they trying to do starting 2027 model trucks. See, this is how you know that the dealership have been scamming drivers for years. It says starting with 2027 models, and likely to eventually be applied to trucks already on the road, meaning your truck that you're already driving now. EPA guidance will extend derates through a staged approach. Once your DEF system go out, it ain't working, instead of a 5 mile per hour derate, or 15 or 25, whatever it was derating to, instead of doing that, this is what the dealerships got to do now. You got, once the light pop on and the system is in derate mode, you can go 650 miles and it's only going to cut the torque 15% back. After you go 650 miles without getting it, fixed, you can go 4,200 miles and it'll cut it back to 30%. And if you keep going at 8,400 miles, instead of cutting the torque back, it'll drop the speed down to 25 miles per hour, and that's the final derate. So once you having emission problems, you can essentially go all the way up to 8,400 miles before the speed will drop down to 25 miles per hour, and then you gotta get to a shop and get it fixed. See, nowadays it'll just go straight to 5 miles per hour. Nothing you can do about it. Now you gotta call some mobile mechanic out, pay him all this money for a 4-hour derate and force regen. And y'all remember all this stuff? Y'all been trucking long enough? Before it's better now. Back when you first got these 2012 to about 2017 trucks, you used to constantly calling mobile mechanics out to do these force regens. They charge you 4 hours at $100 an hour. The changes should give owner-operators time to finish trips and plan maintenance without compromising emission standards. So now the EPA want to give you, the truck driver, a chance. Once your truck start derating, they want to give you a chance to go ahead and make some money so you can plan your maintenance and you ain't out of business. Well, thank you, EPA, thank you. The problem is they only doing it on the 2027 plus trucks. Now they said it's going to apply to the older model trucks, 2022 and all that, but right now it's only for the newer model trucks at the dealership, 2027 model. The problem is, you guessed it, they want $200,000+ for them trucks. I know they got listed, Andrew, actually it's 180 and 170. Yeah, sure it is. And after you go get a commercial loan, let me repeat, after you go get a commercial loan, not a personal loan, not Navy Federal loan, a commercial loan, for all y'all that bought semi-trucks before, commercial loan or equipment loan, but you going for that new truck, that's a commercial loan. Okay, Andrew, I got my commercial loan. I had 800 credit score. That's wonderful. You know what the interest rate gonna be? 30%. Good God Almighty. You'd be lucky if you get around 15. You'd be lucky, especially if it's your first commercial loan. Even at 15%, you're pushing the price over 200,000+ anyway. But it come with all the warranty. It's got all the warranty. So when you hook up to your drive-in with your $200,000+ truck, you get on DAT load board and they got the $1.45, $1.50. You gotta do that 4, 5, 6, 7 years, pay for the truck. No, you ain't gonna recoup your money. Not with these rates, you ain't. While you're driving down the road, you can think about, well, damn, man, I could have done better with an older truck, huh? You could have done better with a paid-off truck. But you wanted the warranty, ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't know nobody who want all this warranty. And me personally, I ain't never had no warranty on none of my trucks. I'm doing just fine. I ain't had no warranty. I'm talking nothing. Well, how can you survive with no warranty? Very easy when you got a truck that barely got any parts on it. See, if I had a warranty on my Freightliner Classic XL, it would basically just cover the internal parts of the motor. Meaning if I blow the motor before, 500,000 miles, They'll rebuild the engine, cool. But I know I can go up the street to my mechanic, $5,000 label, overhaul kit about $3,500 on ATL diesel. Put that together with a block cut, 10, 12, somewhere right in there, $1,000. And more than likely, that's going to occur after the warranty would have expired anyway. 500,000 miles, 4 years, 5 years. It would have, you know. So what I'm getting at is, I'm glad that the EPA is finally deciding to think about you truck drivers out there, instead of, you know, how they can make the dealerships richer and richer. That's how they make their money. They made their money. Well, back in the day, now, like I said, they didn't kind of softened up on all these trucks derating and all that. But back a couple of years ago, you see these shops when they went up to 200 plus an hour, they wasn't looking for my truck. They were looking for your truck, them newer trucks with all this emission. That's all they fixing, emission, one boxes, knot sensors, this sensor, that sensor. That's all they was in there fixing. They wasn't fixing nothing dealing with the engine, dealing with the transmission, putting new clutches in, putting tires and brakes on. No, that's all emission. They just in there just emission, dropping emissions, one boxes and all that. Putting two one boxes on one truck, costing you $10,000 a box. Cleaning you out, just clean. I'm just wiping you clean. Then with somebody like me coming in there, they don't even want to see me. Man, dang. Do you know if they had to wait for a 12.7, people with 12.7s to go over the freight line, they shop be out of business, waiting on us to come up in there. Gonna be waiting all day for a 12.7 to break down. But emissions, that can go out any day. Nah, that go out any day. Shoot, you just go down the road, that crap gets a D rating. So another reason I didn't get into the D rate, a lot of people were deleting trucks back then, and they started to go out to the mechanic shops. And when I started to see them go out to the mechanic shops, shutting them down, throwing them people in prison and all that, I said, you know what, I don't want to invest in nothing that I got to, you know, delete and all that, because, you know, nowadays it's kind of hard to find somebody that want to play that game to come delete your truck. See, my truck, I ain't got to delete it. I can take the inner shop, Freightliner, TA, Speedco, I ain't got to worry about nothing. It's a 12.7. 12.7. I ain't got to worry about nothing. So I just like that option. But I understand, you know, hey, well, Andrew, you can't lease on to Mr. Charlie. That's right. I can't. A lot of these people want 10 years of newer truck. If you go over to, I think, Bruce Oakley, they want 5 years of newer, meaning they want you to be in debt when you show up to work for them. I don't agree with none of that. We in 2025, you got to have a 2020 or newer truck. You got to come to them in debt. Why do I got to come? Why I got to be in $50,000+ worth of debt to come work over there? I don't, No, I don't like that. I don't like that. Especially when you hear what they grossing. Well, you know, we grossing $5,000, $6,000 a week, but it's steady, Andrew. That's all. For me to come, I got to be in debt, and that's all you grossing? You ain't grossing 15,000, 10,000+. You want 5 years of new? I should be grossing 10,000+ to pay for all this shoe shine. But no, that's not the case. That ain't the case. I go over there and look at their website, look at what they pay pneumatic drivers. I'm like, man, what is that? Why they can't pay y'all a percentage of the load? Because then if they paid you a percentage of the pneumatic freight, you'd be making $10,000+ every single week like clockwork. You'd probably be closer to 20,000 to be honest with you. If they paid you a percentage of what they get paid for the pneumatic freight they got, you'd probably be grossing 20,000+ a week every week. Well, anyways, that's the changes coming. Hopefully it applies to everybody truck going forward. You know, I understand everybody don't want no older truck. I'm not telling nobody to get no older truck. Gotta do my disclaimer. Not telling nobody to go buy a cash truck, get no authority, get a new truck, none of that. I'm just giving y'all the news that you can use. Shout out to the people that's constantly sending all these shirts and stuff. Y'all make sure y'all hit that email address. You know, make sure y'all, you know, all my vendors out there, all my people that outside of the trucking industry, hit me up now. Go on, start sending it all, because now I'm getting a whole bunch of stuff now. So I need y'all to just pack that email. The email is in the comment section. I got it pinned. So I got a whole lot of stuff up in there now, because y'all know they said it now it look like I make $1 million. Bank account ain't changed though. Shoot, I'm like, man, I'm steady waiting for this $1 million in this account, man. I mean, they said if I just do this, all of a sudden it looked like I make a lot of money. I said, man, damn, okay, well, where the money at? According to this bank account, I still make the same thing I've been making, huh? Still make the same thing. Maybe I'm missing something. Oh, a lot of y'all upset about the text message with the girl. Guys, I talk to plenty of women all day, every day. I told y'all, I'm not dating women. And if you know me, I don't give money to women. If you go ask any of these women I dated, all 3 of them, go ask any of them, I don't give money. They come around me, I will show you how to get some money, but I ain't coming out my pocket to get no money. Unfortunately, you know, you see, you gotta understand who you messing with. I'll show you how to get his money, take his money. He'll buy all the gifts and the purses, and okay, I might get you a purse. You better smile too. I don't even do that no more. Shit. Anyways, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get back with y'all later on in another video. Catch y'all later.